Miyamoto Musashi, the swordmaster of Japan. Miyamoto Musashi is one of the most famous swordsmen in Japanese history. He lived in the early 1600s and is said to have won over 60 duels without losing even once. He started learning swordsmanship as a child and won his first real fight at the age of 13. After that, he traveled around Japan, fighting and defeating many strong opponents. Musashi is well known for using two swords at once, a style called Niten Ichi-ryu or two-sword style. But he wasn't just a fighter. Musashi was also an artist, a calligrapher, and a thinker influenced by Buddhism. Later in life, he lived in the mountains and wrote a book called The Book of Five Rings, where he shared his ideas about combat and life. Today, Miyamoto Musashi is remembered around the world as a symbol of the perfect samurai, strong, wise, and deeply spiritual. Musashi's first victory as a young swordsman. Miyamoto Musashi is one of the most famous swordmasters in Japan. His path to greatness began with his very first duel at just 13 years old. His opponent was Arima Kihei, an experienced warrior. Young Musashi stepped up with only a wooden sword, barely as tall as himself. No one expected him to win, but Musashi stayed calm and watched carefully. When Arima made a careless move, Musashi struck one clean hit. He won. This was the beginning of his legendary record over 60 duels, never defeated. From this first victory, Musashi may have learned an important truth: that winning isn't just about skill, it's about understanding the opponent and choosing the perfect moment to act. The boy with the wooden sword would go on to travel across Japan, fighting many powerful warriors, always seeking to improve. This is where the story of Miyamoto Musashi truly begins. Musashi vs. the Yoshioka clan, a battle of honor. One of Miyamoto Musashi's most famous battles was against the Yoshioka clan in Kyoto. The Yoshioka family ran a well-known sword school at the time. Musashi challenged the head of the school, Seijiro Yoshioka, to a duel. Seijiro fought with a bamboo sword, but Musashi used a wooden one and won with a powerful strike. Later, Musashi fought Seijiro's younger brother, Niten Ichi-ryu, and won again. The Yoshioka family, feeling humiliated, decided to ambush Musashi in a third fight. They gathered a large group to attack him, but Musashi arrived early, before they were ready. He defeated the group using not only skill, but strategy and timing. These battles weren't just about sword fighting, they were about survival and honor. After this, Musashi's name became known across the country. In his world, every fight was real. Every duel could mean life or death. That was the way of the samurai in Musashi's time. The birth of two-sword style. When people think of Miyamoto Musashi, they often think of his two-sword style. Instead of using just one sword, Musashi fought with both a long and a short sword at the same time. But why did he choose this unusual method? The reason was simple: to win in real combat. Through many life and death duels, Musashi realized that using only one sword sometimes wasn't enough to defend himself. So, he developed a style where he could attack with the long sword and defend with the short one. This technique was extremely difficult. It required strength, balance, and full concentration. But it also gave Musashi a big advantage: he could attack and defend at the same time. He named this style Niten Ichi-ryu, which means two heavens, one style. The two heavens represent the two swords, long and shortest, together as one complete form. Whether on the battlefield or in a duel, Musashi's two-sword style was both powerful and practical. It became his signature method and one of the reasons he was never defeated. Interestingly, today's baseball star Shohei Ohtani is also known for his two-way ability as both a pitcher and a hitter. In English, he's called a two-way player, and some even compare him to Musashi's two-sword mastery. The duel on Ganryu Island. One of Miyamoto Musashi's most famous battles was his duel with Sasaki Kojira on Ganryu Island. Kojira was a master swordsman, known for his long sword, nicknamed the drying pole. On the day of the duel, Kojira waited on the island, but Musashi didn't show up on time. As time passed, Kojira grew increasingly frustrated and anxious. But this delay was part of Musashi's plan. He believed that the one who waits loses calm. By arriving late, he aimed to disturb Kojira's focus and mindset. Musashi finally appeared, holding a wooden sword. He had carved from a boat oar. Kojira saw this as an insult, adding to his anger. While Kojira was emotionally shaken, Musashi stayed calm. The duel lasted only a moment. Musashi landed a powerful blow to Kojira's head and won. This fight was more than just skill with the sword. It was a victory of strategy and mental control. Musashi wasn't only a fighter, he was a master of the mind. Beyond the sword, Musashi's artistic life. Miyamoto Musashi won many battles. But in his later years, he put down his sword and picked up a brush. Musashi was also a talented artist. He created ink paintings, calligraphy, and even carvings. One famous work is Shrike on a Withered Tree, a calm and thoughtful ink painting. He also wrote Dakodo, or The Path of Aloneness, a powerful piece of calligraphy and life philosophy. Why did a master warrior turn to the arts? Musashi believed that the way of the sword is also the way of understanding people. To truly master combat, one must also master the self, and see the world deeply, beyond violence. Art, like swordsmanship, requires focus, insight, and spirit. Musashi spent his final years in Kumamoto, teaching his students and living quietly. He was no longer just a warrior but a philosopher and artist. With both sword and brush, Musashi sought the truth and put his heart into all he created. The Book of Five Rings, Musashi's teachings. In his final years, Miyamoto Musashi left behind his greatest teachings. They are found in his famous book, The Book of Five Rings. The five rings are 5 chapters: earth, water, fire, wind, and void. Each one teaches not only sword techniques, but also mindset and life wisdom. The Earth Scroll explains basic stances and foundation. The Water Scroll teaches flexibility and adaptation. The Fire Scroll focuses on real combat, timing, and energy. The Wind Scroll compares other schools to expand understanding. And the final, Void Scroll, speaks of the mind beyond thought, pure awareness. Though written as a guide for swordsmanship, the book is also a philosophy of life. Musashi is said to have written it in a cave, called Rigando, in Kumamoto. In silence and solitude, he looked inward and captured his truth on paper. Today, the Book of Five Rings is read around the world. Musashi's wisdom lives on, offering guidance far beyond the battlefield. What it meant to never lose. Miyamoto Musashi never lost a duel. He fought around 60 times and won every single one. But what did winning really mean to him? Musashi didn't believe that victory simply meant cutting down his opponent. For him, true victory meant never losing to himself. His fighting style was never rushed. He read his opponent's mind and movements, and waited for the right moment, the moment to win without forcing it. In his younger days, he fought with emotion and pride. But over time, he learned the power of calmness and patience. True strength, he believed, is knowing your own weakness. Musashi gained not only skill but deep inner strength. To be undefeated wasn't just about beating others. It was about not being defeated by anger, fear, or ego. That was the true way to win. Musashi discovered through his life. The quiet final years. After many deadly battles and a life without defeat, Miyamoto Musashi chose a peaceful place for his final years deep in the mountains. In his later life, he was invited to Kumamoto by the Hosokawa clan, where he lived quietly as an honored guest. He taught young warriors, sharing his wisdom and experience. The fire of battle had become a calm spirit filled with insight. Eventually, Musashi went alone to a cave called Rigando, in Kumamoto. There, he looked back on his life and wrote the Book of Five Rings. Separated from the world, surrounded by nature, he faced not enemies but his own inner self. This was not the end of battle, but the beginning of a new kind of battle within. In 1645, Musashi passed away peacefully. It's said that he died sitting upright, with his sword by his side, never letting go. The man once known for strength and victory had finally reached a state of peace and self-mastery. This too was Miyamoto Musashi. The legacy of Musashi. Nearly 400 years have passed since Miyamoto Musashi died. And yet, his name is still known around the world. Why has one swordsman remained so legendary for so long? One reason is his skill. Winning around 60 duels without a single loss. That kind of strength has always fascinated people. Another reason is his philosophy. His final work, the Book of Five Rings, is not only a guide to swordsmanship, but also a book of wisdom on how to live and control one's mind. Today, people in business, sports, and leadership still read it, looking for answers to a timeless question. How can I overcome myself? Musashi also lives on through manga, movies, anime, and video games. His story continues to inspire new generations. Strength, wisdom, and story. These qualities made Miyamoto Musashi more than a warrior. He became a symbol, passed down not only in Japan, but across the world. To those living today, the story of Miyamoto Musashi is not just about sword fighting. It's the story of one person who asked, how should I live? Musashi sought strength, not to defeat others, but to never lose to himself. He learned to stay calm, to not be ruled by fear or anger, and to make every choice with full awareness. That was his way of the sword and his way of life. In the Book of Five Rings, he wrote, "Train for 1,000 days to forge. Train for 10,000 days to refine." It means real strength doesn't come quickly. Only through steady effort, day by day, do we grow. That's why Musashi's message still speaks to us today. In a fast world of screens and distractions, taking time to quiet the mind and find our own center might be the key to real strength and real happiness. Miyamoto Musashi. Even now, across centuries, his way of life continues to challenge and inspire us.